there was a massive outflow from Libya into Tunisia and Egypt, but especially into Tunisia. We joined efforts, IOM and UNHCR, and we organized together with a certain number of governments that put a lot of resources at our disposal, a massive humanitarian repatriation operation aiming exactly at these third country nationals that were migrants in Libya and were moving in big numbers. I think it's important to distinguish two groups. Those that had not really big protection problems, that basically were fleeing because of the conflict and wanted to go back home, and we helped them to go back home without many problems. And many of the sub-Saharans that were facing a very dramatic situation inside Libya, because there was this idea that as Gaddafi had hired mercenaries from several African countries, that they could be targeted inside Libya, and we had some very dramatic appeals for support from people from sub-Saharan Africa. In any case, of the 650,000 people that left Libya until now, it's an amazing number. The overwhelming majority were nationals of third countries, and those nationals of third countries were massively brought back home. And they wanted to go back home. They did not want to go to Europe, contrary to what people think. They want to go back home, and they were helped to go back home. And the numbers now at the border are very small. The problem for Tunisia and for Egypt, and I have to say that they have opened the borders, and the Tunisians in particular were extremely supportive of all kinds of protection concerns in relation to everybody that crossed the border. In Egypt, we had some difficulties, but as a whole, I think these countries have been extremely generous, opening their borders in an unlimited way. But as I said, this group of people that left has not been a problem for Tunisia and for Egypt. What is a very serious problem, especially for Egypt, but also for Tunisia, is the number of nationals that returned. We believe that there was about 1 million Egyptians in Libya. Probably almost half of them have gone back to Egypt. And as you can imagine, in a country that has a lot of unemployment and that is now facing an economic crisis because tourism came down quite dramatically, to absorb all of a sudden 500,000 people is a big challenge. Tunisia has a similar problem with a smaller scale, but this requires, in my opinion, massive support to allow them to be able to cope with this challenge, knowing that both societies have high levels of unemployment, and especially of youth unemployment. And youth unemployment, I think there are about 400,000 young unemployed in Tunisia, of which almost half with a university degree. This is potentially a group of population that can be very problematic in a democratic transition.